Hey everybody, welcome back to the next episode of the Arbitrary Productions. My name is Fred, and back here today we have our old co-host, Enzo.
Hey, what's up?
Just what's up. Yeah, okay, I guess. And we also have here today a very special guest, an old friend of Enzo and Enzo and mine. She's actually not an old friend because she's still our friend from college, Uyen Dinh.
Hi! Oh my gosh, this is weird. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I just introduced myself.
Yeah, so as you can tell, Ewan's kind of nervous. This is her first podcast ever, but she wanted to jump on an episode to talk about mental health, finding, I guess, options and opportunities, and help if you're in the Charlotte area, just in general in life when it comes to taking care of yourself, your mental health, just your whole entire being. Ewan's kind of a pro in that with a background in social work. She's had a couple internships in the Charlotte area. So yeah, very excited.
She's a little bit qualified,
Yeah,
the average person,
yeah.
So.
We're hyping her up here
Yeah.
because she's very special to us, and we're very excited to talk to her today.
Wow.
Yeah. So Ewan, how are you?
I'm good. I don't know if I'm professional. I don't.
Why?
Well,
I just.
You're better than okay. So in terms of me talking about mental health, I have no background at all, and I would be safe to say that as well as for you, Fred, you have also no aside from your personal experience,
Yeah.
You kind of went to school for that at least.
But you say that you don't have any mental health experience.
No, but
what exactly is
Yeah,
mental health?
you-
How would you describe what mental health is?
Mental health to me, and okay, I want
to preface.
I guess, okay. Mental health is not it's an abstract thought, idea to my opinion. Everyone has their own kind of interpretation of it, but to me, what it truly is, it affects the individual's obviously mental health, psychological health, and also physical health, because I feel like those two things are interlocking. Your mental health affects your physical health. Your physical health, vice versa, affects your mental health, right? And so I just think your mental health is essentially your state of being. Is that a professional Google it and that's the definition? Obviously not.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't consider myself a professional, because I don't know the exact, psychological definition.
Research and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And we wanted to call you, I guess, more of a professional because you have more experience working with people directly when it comes to, say, stressful situations. You kind of played more of an advisory role in your experience than me and Enzo has when
Yeah.
it comes to your professional career. And, what exactly to you defines somebody who has good mental health, and what exactly what does it mean to you when somebody has bad mental health, or rather
Poor mental health? Is that what
poor mental
What
health?
what would be the correct way?
Yeah,
to
how
say
would you
it?
define that?
What would be the correct way to say good and bad? Because clearly, I feel like there's got to be a better way to say it than just.
well, mental health, there's honestly, in my opinion, it's a spectrum. It's no good, it's no bad,
Okay.
and everything. And for me, personally, you can go with a DSM. So the DSM is what psychiatrists use to diagnose individuals with certain mental illnesses, depression, stuff like that. They go by a DSM. If you I guess convey the symptoms that the DSM states, then you have whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that in a professional sense, that's what you can deem as individuals who may suffer from any mental disparities. And just, you know what I'm saying? And then
I think like to sort of diagnose somebody if they're in a good state and someone if they're needing more help with their mental health. That's what the DSM's for. Is what you're saying?
well, if you want a diagnosis, if you want to come in and say, hi, I've been feeling these symptoms, I've been low on energy, I can't focus on, certain things, and you talk to a professional about it, a professional will open a DSM. It's a manual, essentially, they will use to diagnose individuals with certain illnesses. and professionals would use that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
As an everyday person, you can sometimes even feel the aura of someone's not mentally okay. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah.
And that's why it's, for me, like when you said that I don't know much about mental health, I feel like everyone does have an idea because everyone struggles with something.
Yeah.
You know, and if you have human emotion or human empathy, or you can just feel someone's energy, you can tell when like something's going on.
So what would you say are the symptoms would be like an example of somebody who is experiencing they're in a mental space where they don't feel as, I guess, secure, or they don't feel as strongly about their mental health. What would you say like their symptoms would be?
Well, it's what, because again, mental health, there's many mental illnesses, because someone who's depressed and someone who's schizophrenic, those are two different symptoms
Okay.
and two different aspects, and then that all categorized with mental health. So I can't quite say like this is bad mental health, this is good mental health, or this is exactly mental health, because it's so broad and it's so
Yeah.
much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can't. That question for me is very hard to to answer.
Okay. All right. Well, I just kind of want to backtrack a little bit.
This is very good.
Because like you said something about like psychological health and mental health. Like, what's the difference between like those two?
I honestly, I don't know why I said it, because I can't quite tell you.
Like,
I just said it because I was looking kind of nervous, because to me they're interlocking. They're kind of the same.
Okay.
Can you like cut that?
Well, okay. So, what would be? I don't know how to like word. Like, what would be like psychological and like mental? Because like. I feel for me, I feel like those are like the same things, but like for what you're saying it, I mean, like it sounds like they're like related, but they're not the exact same thing. Like so, like what would be psychological? Like,
I really don't know the answer.
It's okay.
I'm
It's
so
okay.
sorry.
I mean, clearly, me and Enzo have a lot of questions about this, because we don't know much about this.
Because I think mental and psychological, they're interchanging. They're the same thing, low-key.
okay. All right.
I think so. I don't know. The reason why I say I'm not professional, because like low-key, I'm still a student. Like I'm
that's
in
fine.
the MSW program here in Charlotte. So and like even with like clinical therapy, or me with taking psychology classes and such like that, I have maybe like I don't know. I wouldn't categorize myself as like an expert on the topic, because to me, I'm still learning. I'm still like I haven't read the DSM like back to back. Low key, if you ask me right now, I don't even know what DSM kind of stands for right now. I forgot. It's like diagnose something symptom manual 5. I don't know.
Yeah. So you mentioned before we recorded that you worked in you've had internships, right? In space, can you tell us a little bit more about what kind of opportunities was that?
Yeah, so internship wise, so I have interned before for the DSS, so Department of Social Services in Mecklenburg County. So I was under Child and Family Services, I guess you can say, with investigations and family in homes. So I did a lot of shadowing. I did a little bit of one-on-one like contact with clients and stuff like that. And then last semester I worked with Guardian Ad Litem, and that was in Gaston County. So Guardian Ad Litem, that's more, not a lot of people know about that. So what they are is they're a program to teach volunteers to be court-appointed advocates. So they're court-appointed advocates. So essentially Guardian Ad Litem is a volunteer-based organization. So these volunteers will come into will be assigned to a child who is a part of abuse and neglect case, and essentially they advocate for them. So they visit them monthly. That's a minimum monthly, and they'll come and say, "Hey, how are you? Is everything okay? Have you, are your needs met? Do you feel safe? Do you feel comfortable here?" And at the end, they will just kind of write a court report, and they will kind of vocalize any concerns or needs of the child, and then just kind of summarize the state of the child to court. So my background has more been in like child welfare, I guess you could say. So I haven't had like any internships with like a clinic, stuff like that.
But did that opportunity get you like a chance to work with kids?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, and what was it like working with kids, and I guess relating to mental health and child welfare? Were the kids you met kind of in a good headspace, or were they? I don't know much about their situation, so that's why I'm really curious about it.
Obviously, like the reason why I that I was interested in social work is because of children. I thought, I don't know, I just that's where my heart lies essentially. But within Guardian Litem, the reason why I find the program to be so interesting and the reason why I apply to be an intern and such like that is that something about Guardian Litem is that the volunteers are usually there from the opening of the case to the closing of the case. So the guardian is something that the child sees monthly and is something that's permanent. And permanent for me, permanency is such a powerful word because I feel like, again, this is my opinion. I don't have any research to back this up, but stability is so important for children at any age or just at any race, culture, ethnicity. And that's something that a lot of children who are in the foster care system and the Guardian Litem has a lot of overlay. A lot of the children assigned to guardians are in foster care that they kind of lack because, they were taken away from their parents. They're placed into foster care and which means that maybe they were switched to a different school, different district. Sometimes due to circumstances, children can be placed from foster care to foster care, so they move a lot. And with each move, you never know, different school again, different people, different friend group. And as a child, that could be very traumatic.
Yeah.
When you're separated from your parents, that's traumatic no matter what age. And so something that amazing that Guardian Litem provides is that once a case is open, the guardian's there.
Okay.
That's something that they will see and something that is permanent for them. And even with like social workers, even though like, yes, like social workers are assigned to the child, turnover rates are so high within the department and social workers are always being, they're always leaving or they're always switching the case to another one. So it's always, even social workers can't really like provide that stability. So that's something that I found very interesting within Guardian Litem. And that affects, obviously, the child's mental state as well. Because sometimes, I don't know, it depends. It varies between each child. And also, personally, for me, I don't like labeling that kind of aspect. I don't like labeling like, oh, you're in a bad mental state. You're in a good mental state. Because who am I to really state that? Yeah. For me, it's like, it's maybe my social work background. It's like, you have to tell me like, hey, I don't think so because I'm not here to label you. I'm just here to help support you. So if you think so, if you think you're like suffering from XYZ as a social worker, I'm like, okay, I understand. I hear you and let me help you get the resources that you need to get you in a better state, So I don't know. Everyone's different too. So sometimes for me, what can be a bad mental state could be a good mental state for others. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because everyone has different perspectives on, their life. How they grew up is different than somebody else. Doesn't matter if they grew up in the same neighborhood because you don't know what's going on in their house.
Another person's trash is another person's treasure, right?
In a way, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That's why, like, when you ask, like, what's good mental health, what's bad mental health, like, obviously, like, when you're not, like, sleep is important. If you're not sleeping, that's obviously bad. There's concrete stuff that is, like, you can tell that can be damaging to someone's mental health. Stress, toxic stress, all that. Not eating, okay, that can correlate to that. But I don't know. I just don't, for where I am and my interactions with people, like, I can't quite look at someone and be like, good and bad. I don't know. I feel like life is too abstract to really label that.
But you did mention that there are still symptoms.
Yeah, for sure.
And one of the biggest things in society now that people talk about, because it's still a new thing, it's still
self-care?
Self-care, but a lot of people are talking about social media as a cause of bad mental health per se, and cause of bad, just mental and psychological. It affects us negatively, and there's still a lot of research being done with that because social media is still fairly new as a concept and as a service or product, right? It's only been like over 10 years now. The social media has been born, and so when people talk about mental health space, psychological, you're trying to figure self-care, it usually comes down to one or two big reasons, and that's because too much social media. And what are your thoughts on the whole hot debate when it comes to social media? Is it really a factor into somebody's health, or is it just a factor of the times changing and people just trying to adapt?
I think it's both, honestly.
Okay.
I feel like social media plays a lot, especially on the younger generation, because that's usually what you see. And it's just exposure and what's confidential now, what's not. And just now that information and life is just so accessible, you know, our society is changing now. And even with going back on children, it's just they're so impressionable, and just with like all these like YouTubers or Instagram influencers showcasing this, you know, ideal perfect life when in reality it's not like that. And it goes in the sense too of like even beauty standards, success and all that. Like I think as humans we naturally compare and contrast each other, even though we try not to, or we tell each other like you shouldn't compare, you know. I think it's almost human nature to compare, because it's just, for me, my mind always going like the what ifs, right? And just children again being such a vulnerable population and being very impressionable, that's the key term, is just impressionable. Seeing that and not really knowing what is real life yet, because just they that's their reality.
They see everything through the screen, and
and because cyberbullying too is a new aspect that's been occurring too. That, you know,
it's easier to access the internet now, even at a young age.
And it's just easier to access people. I heard, so this is what like one of my friends said, you know, what I only saw my classmates now when, like during school, like, and then at least when I'm home, like I'm safe. At least I didn't see them. But now when people come home, because of like social media and like phones being so accessible, like the bullying doesn't stop. The bullying transfers back in the home life. You know what I'm saying? So that's like a new phenomenon too that's been going around.
So do you think it's like healthy to take a break from social media every once in a while?
I think so as well.
Maybe, you know, turn off your phone an hour before you sleep or something like that.
I mean, like, it's an addiction now. Like, I think that, like, people are sort of addicted to their phones. And social media. Like, I'm not...
As Uyen checks her phone.
I got a text.
No, dude, I mean, I'm guilty of that too. Like, sometimes I just look at my phone. I know I don't even have a notification. It's like,
it's a habit.
It really, no, but like, it's like almost an addiction. Really.
It's a tick.
It really is. You know, like,
I mean, honestly, everything is changing because of social media. How we interact with each other, how we talk to each other,
how things are sold and marketed now.
That's
as a marketing person.
You know what's kind of crazy is like I read or heard somewhere where like, you know, those kids of vloggers, they don't have like a normal life like we did. Because all their life is like they're on a camera. It's kind of like a child star, like, you know, like a child's like
Ryan's Toys.
That kid is like, he's making a lot, but like he's never gonna.
It's all his parents.
He's never gonna have a normal life. And not saying like, you know, that's abuse or like that, but just like,
isn't that just like, you know, child stars to begin with? You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, but like it's.
But they're not given a lot of choice.
What I'm saying is it's more like even like their home, like their life. A child star, I mean, again, I have no qualification, but like they're going out in a role. But and then they can come back and sort of be a kid, you know? But with these like vloggers and stuff, like
they're constantly in front of the camera.
Every day. Like it's kind of crazy, you know. You got to think like
their life is a show.
Yeah, honestly,
it's like the Truman Show.
I still, even though so we were born at the same time, right, Freddie? I was born in 1997,
not 70s.
So.
That's Marvin.
What are we? Are we like a millennial or are we like Gen Z?
We're probably Gen Zers. Millennials are probably, we missed the boat by a couple years. Because I think that was more in the early 90s when that era kind of ended. We're more in the late 90s. I know a lot of people bunch us up.
So what is this generation right now?
We're Gen
Zers.
Some people say Gen Z.
We might even be beyond Gen Z now.
Or like the people, like, we grew up with like
generation,
the rise.
We're
like,
the generation text, I believe.
Digital natives.
We grew up with computers. That was our era.
We grew up with the rise of computers.
In the late 90s.
Like we played the ping pong game on like, you know what I'm saying?
I played like
we still had boxy computers when we were kids.
But even like now, like I don't understand TikTok and all that stuff. That's social media, correct?
It is.
But
I mean, I remember a time where I didn't even have a computer in my house.
I think an aspect too that we are struggling now is like feeling relevant.
Because
even though like not stars and stuff like that, or like even YouTubers, I know like
Yeah.
they have to be relevant to like make money, but even like us, it's like if you don't have like Instagram or like you don't have Twitter, you don't have Facebook, not even Facebook anymore because like Facebook's kind of coming obsolete. Low
I
key.
feel like even for college students,
yeah, like
Facebook
then
is
you got
still,
then you like don't exist.
yeah,
you know?
even for college students, that I believe as a marketer that Facebook is still an important tool.
Yeah.
Just because college students use it for groups.
Yeah, I
You know,
agree.
you can't get that with Instagram or Twitter. You can't really do groups on those. If you did, it's like just
Yeah.
a long mess of just messages. But Facebook still has ways, you know, set up events, groups. It's still kind of relevant. But that's a whole nother
Discussion.
topic. Yeah.
Yeah, but
So yeah. Social media, good, bad, okay.
at the end, you can't answer it because it's
Yeah.
such. It depends on the situation, obviously. Social media is a career now.
Mm-hmm.
For many individuals.
You should say like an influencer.
I mean, essentially, influencers.
So
all
people use it
that.
for marketing.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just a double-edged sword. Like it brings so many people together, but also it breaks people
Yeah.
apart.
It's a necessary evil.
It's like I think I heard someone was like it makes us connected, but there is no connection.
That's very true.
There you
Because how we
go.
even I mentioned earlier, like how we interact with each other is different.
Yeah. We're so reliant on technology, a combination of technology and physical interaction that is when we've gotten so used to that we can't really move away from
Yeah,
that.
it's not really social
you
media. I
know?
think it's just technology now.
Yeah.
'Cause
On
it
phone
goes-
addiction. you
Yeah.
know. It's a problem, but I can't. Who do you blame? Do you blame your generation or the previous generation who made the phones?
I feel
I
like
don't know.
it's just how.
It's just how the way things go.
Because everybody's addicted to it.
Technology is supposed to make our lives easier.
Yeah.
You know?
You know.
And
If not, we would
has.
just be foraging or just agricultural. I don't want to do that.
Hey, the Amish still do it.
Hey, no props to them,
But you know what? When they do go to work, they still have to use that technology. Just can't use it at home. So
isn't Amish like
No.
just agricultural?
some of them still have jobs outside their area. Yeah,
I
they
get
still
it.
go to work, and they gotta use phones at work, cars, computers at work. Just can't use it at home.
I don't know if I'm answering these questions properly.
No, you're
I'm like a
fine.
little- ooh.
You're
no,
fine.
we just want your opinion.
Yeah,
That's what we want.
Yeah, no, we're just here to talk, have a conversation. Easy peasy,
Relax.
lemon squeezy, arbitrary productions at Twitter and Instagram. That's not a commercial.
That's a plug. You just plug it in, though.
But yeah, so social media, good, bad, neutral, however you feel about it, let us know. And we could probably talk about it some more in another episode. Maybe a marketing segment. Just talk about it again.
The evils of marketing,
I
perhaps.
feel like social media popped off marketing.
Yeah.
That's definitely true. Like
Yeah.
nowadays with ads and stuff, like
People
with-
buy stuff through social
I
media now.
I did. You
Yeah,
know,
see?
I bought like a backpack, even though it was kind of like a crappy back. It wasn't
See,
crappy.
Enzo
But
fell for a marketing schmuck.
the thing is, it's kind of weird. Is like I would like look at commercials, like I wouldn't fall for that. But then like it's not like I like the
It's
ones.
not that you're falling for it. It's more that the advertising exists, meaning that you actually saw value in that product.
Yeah, and it wasn't a bad backpack. It was like just one that I didn't need. I didn't need it, but I had
Yeah.
money for it and I wanted it. I was
Yeah.
like, that was cool.
Yeah.
I want it. It just showed me pictures of it, like it's stylish.
It showed what affected you. Like I said, this is a whole marketing thing. I can get into it some other time, just not right now, because
Yeah.
this is all about Ewan's topic,
Oh my gosh.
mental health and taking care of yourself,
How-
self-care. What is self-care?
Self-care is a routine that you can do on a daily basis that will just promote a healthy mindset and healthy body, mindset, soul, being, essentially. And what people forget, in my opinion, about self-care is that it's a routine. It's something that you can do daily that will help you, you know? I think people are like, oh, when you practice self-care, it shouldn't just be like a once in a month thing. It should be
Okay.
something that you can do on a daily basis that will kind of keep you stable, keep you healthy, keep you in a very zen and
Okay.
proactive state.
Speaking of consistency with taking care of yourself, I know some people get taking care of yourself differently from treating yourself. How would you define that difference?
What is the difference between
Yeah,
those
'cause-
two? Treat yourself and taking care of yourself.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of people might not realize that
think-
there's a difference, but there is.
This is the first thing that popped in my head when you said that. I
Yeah.
think you have to go back to what do you need and not what do you want. So
Okay.
what do you need right now? You know, like I need sleep. I
Yeah.
need food. I need, you know, and then self-care kind of relies back to that. Like, what do you need to keep you steady, to keep you stable? While treating yourself is just, what do you want?
Yeah.
So again, it's going back to what you need, not what you want.
Okay, and speaking of that, you said self-care should be an everyday thing. Treating yourself. Some
be
people
once in a while.
Some people tend to mix that up and they try to treat themselves every day, you know, and it's a mess.
When I was
Right.
when I was on that high horse, I definitely was guilty of treating myself.
So just do that, like, hey,
Consistently.
do I want this or do I need this?
There you go.
That's the question you should
And I
ask
wasn't
yourself.
talking about Enzo, by the way. I'm just talking about people in general. Because I do meet a lot of people quite often that say, I need to go treat myself. And they say this every day.
Treat
And,
yourself.
and there's a big difference with treating yourself and taking care of yourself. Speaking of that, Ewan,
Yeah.
How do you?
do you have any self-care? What
What tips
are
and
your
tricks?
self-care routines?
Okay,
Because
for
you
me,
mentioned every day.
I love self-care.
Self-care,
And then you follow
okay.
me on social media, like I always post on my like Instagram
Yeah.
story or like Snapchat story about self-care. This is me. This is completely catered towards me. How I do is just from like self-care is getting enough sleep, staying hydrated, eating food, correct? But beyond that, I think my self-care, I'm a very I consider myself a very creative person. I really like I like working with my hands.
Uh-huh.
And so something that I always do on a daily basis is that I bullet journal. I have a journal that I like schedule everything in, and even though it seems work, for me it's therapeutic. Having everything laid out and making sure that, you know, I know what I'm gonna do for today. And also with bullet journaling, it's a kind of DIY journal. You can like design your own, you know, weekly agenda, schedule, spread. And so I can use my creative side with that, and that's just how it just makes me kind of stay stable. And then I drink tea every morning to have like a moment of like
What kind of tea?
just any, like I've been really
What's your
drinking
favorite?
chai.
Chai?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um
Also, disclaimer: chai already means tea, so don't call it chai tea, people.
Yeah.
Please do not. It's like calling the cheese queso dip. It's just you're just saying the same word over. Why? Don't do that.
Thank you for that, because I was gonna call it chai tea.
Yeah,
But,
no, it's just chai. Right. Anyways, you went. Sorry.
So my journal really helps a lot. I knit. I don't do it every day, but I do it on like a weekly basis. Knitting, baking. Hobbies can be considered a form of self-care.
Okay.
So having hobbies and such like that. Hang out with friends. Don't, you know, something you can do on a weekly basis. Can
Yeah.
be considered
Start a podcast.
Yeah, that can be your self-care. And I know I always tell you guys, like, hey, remember your self-care, take care of yourself. I know it can sound redundant, but it's just, when you take care of yourself, your productivity goes high up. And then when you take care of yourself, you can care for others. So it's just, as a society whole, it would just help.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
So I have another big, heavy question.
Oh, gosh.
We might get some crazy answers here. Okay. It relates to self-care, and you know, when you mentioned earlier mental health, and everybody has a different perspective on it because everyone's from, you know, grows up differently, different perspective, different households, on all that. Now, let's talk about how does your family's culture, you know, how do they what are their perspectives on, say, something like self-care or mental health? Because, you know, some cultures may not even acknowledge that those things are possible,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, some cultures, the word depression doesn't even consider
Exactly.
You know, anxiety is not even a word within the language itself. And language forms culture, and culture forms people. So I understand that aspect as well. So I guess we are all minority queens.
Yes. In case you can't tell, I'm Filipino, Yuen's Vietnamese, and Enzo's Ecuadorian. So we all kind of have different perspectives.
Yeah, so we all have
in
different
our
backgrounds.
families, you know.
And also, we're all first generation immigrant individuals, correct? I'm first generation. You two, you're first generation too, correct?
Yeah.
And then you.
I'm an actual immigrant.
Yeah, you're an actual immigrant. So that also plays a role, and also me being a female plays a role, and you guys being male. So there's a lot of aspects and just lens that you can gather with this podcast and this moment of this group of people. So me growing up Vietnamese American, I guess, and Asian American, it's just mental health was not talked about, right, Freddie? I'm trying not to exclude you, Enzo, but I think you can relate too. For us, or for me at least, it was never acknowledged, and I didn't even know the word anxiety until like high school. Because
until you started feeling it.
I started feeling it. And I was describing it to my friend who was white. I'm just kidding, but no, for real, I was like, I don't know, like I feel like something's out to get me. I was shaking, my heart was beating, and like I talk very fast already, but then I was just zooming the words out of my mouth, and I was just like, I don't know what's going on. I feel sick. I was like, something's like wrong with me. I thought it was crazy, and she was like, I think you're just anxious, and I was like. I remember Googling it. I was like, what's that?
Yeah.
And then I was trying to explain to my parents what was going on. And I tried Googling it, and I was like, it sounded
It's
odd.
a rough translation.
Yeah, it's a rough translation. Even I think I noticed in Vietnamese words, every time like someone talks about anxiety, they say anxiety in English. Because I don't think there's a proper Vietnamese word for it.
There might be, but it's very hard to, it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
It might be hard, like, for
It might
example.
mean the same thing.
Yeah,
Because even when my mom say the word stress, she doesn't say in Vietnamese. My mom is like, her English is not good, by the way. And the fact that she's like, she will speak Vietnamese and stress. Because again, stress isn't a word that we use in our culture. And so and I think that plays a heavy role in how we grew up. And it can also play a really heavy role between like children and parents, because there's the relatability, and that's communication that is cut because of the cultural differences, correct? And what was the question again? I totally went on a rampage.
Yeah, no, you were still on track. I was just trying to see, since we all come from different cultural backgrounds and different perspectives, and mental health and self-care doesn't always translate well into what our families may not even consider. They might not even know what mental health is, what self-care is, just because some people just won't acknowledge it.
Yeah. Well, it's not because they acknowledge. It's simply, I think,
they don't understand.
They just don't know, because again, it's
or
not.
Or they never talked about it. It wasn't something growing up. It wasn't something they freely talked about. It was just kind of expected or ignored.
It's kind of like this though. Like you have like a basic necessity. So food, water, and shelter. So you're not really worried about mental health. You're just worried about surviving.
Yeah. So that is actually
it's on the triangle, right?
Yeah, it's called the Maslow hierarchy of needs.
I learned that
in business.
Yeah. So Maslow hierarchy of needs is exactly what Enzo said, and it applied to other individuals. It's like it's the needs that you need for survival, essentially. And the basic is like food, shelter, all that jazz, and then as you go higher, that's when mental health comes into play.
Self-actualization, right? Yeah.
Well, being
and that's on me, our parents, for sure, because I know that a lot of our parents, me being Vietnamese American, like my parents grew up during time of war, where like they didn't have time to worry about their mental health, because they had to worry about the
everything
lives
else on the bottom of the pyramid.
Yeah, like
right?
food, money, shelter, all that. But I really think that a lot of their emotion goes back to like mental health.
But now with like, okay, continue.
No, I mean like, I don't know if it's like this, but like my dad has a really bad temper, and I really just think it's because of trauma during the war, like the fact that my grandpa was gone, and everything that he experienced being a refugee, because my dad was a refugee. I just think that's just mental issues or like problems that he just never addressed, because he never acknowledged it, or because he was never educated about it. And even till this day, like, I don't know about you guys, but something that my parents always say, like, just when you are, I think every time I try to like talk to my parents about it, it's like, oh, it's okay, just don't think about it. Yeah, that's like a phrase they always say to me.
It's okay. So yeah, it goes back to the whole, some families and cultures may not be able to understand, or if they do, it's a rough translation. It doesn't always come across as clear as you'd like to, but it's a work in progress, right? I'm assuming that because of your background in working with people and understanding their psychology and thought processes, that you're kind of trying your best to explain to your families now what exactly self-care may mean, or mental health may mean.
Essentially like social work 101, and just saying that, okay, I know where my experience again, it's more of understanding their system. So the social work field uses the systems theory, where that we are all multifaceted people. You know what I'm saying? And our systems affect us. So again, just like me being, or you, let's say you, for example, you being immigrant, Filipino American, marketing, and like family, job, like those are all your systems, and they affect you as a whole. Correct? Because like we're just
those are my characteristics.
Yeah. And so I don't know, my social work, they analyze to people through their environment, personal environment, and then we kind of help through that. So I don't know, I do play around with like, or not play around, but mental health is important, and we do consider our clients as mental health. But I guess for me, it's more of like person and environment, if that makes any sense. So that's why I stumbled a little bit with like mental health, because I was like, I get it. Because a lot of things affect their mental health. So I was using the systems again theory about like what can affect mental health. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it makes any sense.
No, you're fine. So we mentioned, understanding this is a lot, and that we all have different experiences with trying to express our own mental health and how we take care of ourselves. Now I'm going to kind of ask Enzo a little bit about his experience with trying to, if you don't mind, talking about a little bit.
I don't think I have any really experience.
No, I meant like just like trying to explain to your parents and family.
I don't think I ever did though. Try.
You never tried?
No, it's because like, I mean, this is gonna sound kind of weird, but like
it's fine.
I'm not really like I love my mom and dad.
Yeah.
But I'm not also close with them in the sense that like
you don't really open up to them.
Yeah, just because for one, they're my parents, and number two, like they're mostly speak Spanish and I mostly speak English.
Yeah.
Of course, like if I ever do have anything going on, I ask them for help.
Yeah.
I feel like when it comes to them, it mostly there's more towards like religion, Catholicism, and like if God wills it, God will, find a way.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel like it is for them. I remember there was like one time a super serious situation happened with our family. I'm not going to get into details because it's kind of private, but something that kind of ticked me off was my dad. Like we were all sitting down, and like my dad was sort of talking about something in the sense like, we won't go to any health like mental professionals because those won't work. We'll just pray.
Oh.
And like so, and like it's kind of like I remember hearing that. It's just kind of made me mad. It's like, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like you can pray, but like you can't just like
pray your sickness away.
Yeah. And so like that I remember hearing that, and I was just kind of mad and angry. It just kind of like maybe like just kind of like you're not doing the right thing.
And it was hard. Obviously, it was something that you felt like it wasn't even worth arguing about. It was hard to explain.
And like it's because it's kind of weird like how that went, like that kind of went, because like and again I'm not gonna get too deep. I don't even know fully. Like when my brother was a child, I think he had to go to do something with his mental health. I don't know, something about that. Like he had to go something. I could be completely wrong, but there was just something that happened, and so he had to do it when he was a kid. And I think he told me like after that meeting that we had, he was like, "Well, if Dad said that, well, then what was what I went through?" And he was a kid though, so like he was a kid. Yeah, but I feel like with my parents, it's more like a religious thing. Like God will do the right thing, and we just have to follow His way. That's just kind of like with a lot of problems. I mean, like when I freaking like had a breakup, it's God's way, and I was like crying. I'm like, I don't get it. Stop saying that.
Just pray to feel better.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
nothing against praying or Catholics, but
praying could be a form of self-care.
Yeah,
I think that it is for my mom, especially when she lost her. Like my mom and her mom, so my grandma, were very close. They were like, like my mom would say she would call her, I think, if not every day, at least every week. Yeah. And like she essentially was my mom's best friend. And so when she passed away from cancer, like my mom was like hysterical. And like it was kind of like weird looking at my mom like that. Like, she's my mom, my parent, so she knows what to do, but like she's kind of broken right now.
Yeah.
And so it took her a long, long time. I mean, she still hurts, but it took her like a long, long time to kind of get back. And I think her form of that was praying.
Yeah.
She still deals with like heavy loss occasionally from time to time,
Yeah.
but like
She found peace in that.
she found peace through religion. So like
Yeah.
in a sense, like for me though, religion's not the way for me. It would be
Yeah.
more like going towards something I guess more modern, like I guess seeing a psychologist.
Or taking a drive.
Taking drive, honestly, I do
Yeah.
like taking drives, and it just kind of clears my mind. But
nice.
for my mom, it's more like praying to God, and
Being with your family.
being with the family. And that's like how my mom, I think, deals with something like that in terms of like high stress, to take care of herself.
Honestly, there's no right or wrong way.
Yeah, exactly.
If it works, it
yeah.
works.
It works for my mom. It doesn't work for me.
But it just shows difference in
Exactly.
generations and perspective.
Yeah.
You
Because and I mean, I grew up here in the States where
Yeah.
things are. I mean, I'm not trying to like poop on my parents' background, but it's more modern,
Yeah.
more up to date. Whereas over there, it's like it's third world country. It's like
different
poor.
mentality.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like like I was saying, like my father immigrated over here because he wanted a better lifestyle for his kids.
Yeah.
But also like his background, what his parents did for him were a little bit different. So, I mean, that's kind of like what I gotta say about it.
Yeah. So
What about you, Fred?
what?
I mean, like
Yeah.
My
Because your mom is a nurse.
no,
correct?
she's actually an accountant.
What? I'm
Way
being
to
so
stereotype
yeah,
my
Filipinos.
mom.
Wait,
Disclaimers.
someone's a nurse in your family. You told me.
No one's a nurse.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
My aunt is a caretaker, but she's not a nurse.
I am so sorry.
I think she used to be in the Philippines, but not in Canada.
racist.
No, but when it comes to my parents, my mom and my stepdad, they're very understanding when it comes to mental health and understanding, when somebody's sad and going through things, they understand giving space, consoling and talking. But, for the most part, I like Enzo, I don't typically go out of my way to talk to them about, hey, I'm feeling anxious, hey, I'm feeling down. But there are times where I've expressed that before, and my mother has been very, she's very good at listening and encouraging. Like when I was trying to finish up college,
Oh yeah.
I was, and you guys will
We
remember
graduated
this.
the same
Yeah,
semester.
yeah, and you guys will.
Oh wait, we never explained how we met.
Yeah, we can talk about it in
Yeah.
a little bit. But Enzo, you remember you had a lot of free time my last semester of college, right? And you were trying to spend a lot of time with me and Kayla, but obviously I was in the final run lap of my college career, and I was very stressed out. It was a lot of projects every week.
I remember, you had to do that project at with that group.
Yeah, I was in the library every evening.
Oh my gosh.
But I was in that space where whenever I was on the phone with my mom, I would tell her that, hey, trying to get through college, but things are really rough right now. It's a lot of stress, a lot of pressure. I know I can get through it, but it's been very discouraging and frustratingly stressful. And she just, best mom in the world, she's telling me, you can do it. You're almost there. You got to push through. It's going to be worth it. And even,
you did it.
yeah. And even now, I'm still going through similar experiences. I'm still very stressed.
Yeah.
I am working, but I'm trying to make better of, my career path.
Trying to move forward.
Yeah, I'm trying to move forward, but it's still a rough road ahead. But it's the same thing. I tell her, whenever we call her, like, hey, it's been rough, but it's the same thing. She's very encouraging, and same thing with my dad. Whenever I call him in the Philippines, I'll tell him like, hey, it's been rough, been busy, trying to make time to call you, and he'll be like, I totally understand. It's a lot of stress, a lot of pressure. You're growing up. But I totally respect you working really hard. So that's just, it's very encouraging when you're trying to find yourself and you're trying to find where you fit in, but you don't really know how to or where or why you're even doing it in the first place. But to have people help, help you in that head, help you figure out where you need to be, or at least help you that like, hey, you can relax a little bit. You gotta take care of yourself sometimes too, and that's always good thing to be reminded through by text or just somebody calling you. You know.
I think for me, when I was in like college, because I'm a dropout.
Don't say that.
I am.
It's
not,
fine. He's proud of it.
I'm proud of it.
I
I
will
just
show
don't
this
like the term
episode to his
dropout.
mom.
I
I'm
feel
just
like
kidding.
it has negative connotation. I just think
Let's just say.
just say college wasn't for me.
Yeah, hit a different calling.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
had a
it
different
is.
calling. Okay, so anyways, like for me, like okay, so like my first semester at university was like complete. I'm trying to like find a good word. It was just bad.
It's okay. You already cursed here
Dude,
earlier.
I
I'll edit
remember
that
because
part out.
like
No, you don't, because I don't. We met in the second semester.
no, because I remember people were telling me to tell you to stay in college. And I told you, I was like, if you want to leave, leave.
Oh yeah,
Remember?
yeah. Actually,
And I got backlash for that. They were like, you and what are you saying? Yada, yada, yada.
yeah, because everyone was expecting you to say to stay in college, but
No, I said if you want, because honestly, I'm here. I am all about. I'm not gonna place my standards, my morals, my values on other people's. Because again, everyone has different backgrounds, different needs, desires, etc. Right? And so, yes, for me, education is important. Yes, for me, I believe that I have to go through college to be successful. Do I think everyone needs to go to college to be successful? Absolutely not. Have I met a large number of people who never even finished high school who are very successful? Yes, I have. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's a different path. So I remember I was in I don't know your audience know this, but like Freddie used to be in UNCC's newspaper.
Student media, yeah.
Yeah, so he has his own little office, and we would visit him. I would visit his room. I would visit his office, eat his snacks, and sleep in his floor. Literally, that was my
People
undergrad.
used to hang out in my office.
Yeah, I
all
would just
the
go to his
time.
office like, yo, I'm so tired, let me nap. And I would really pull out a pillow or something that's, I don't know, like one of your things, just
I
take a
had
nap.
Robin Whittles under my desk.
Yeah, I'll snuggle with it. No, I'm just kidding. But I remember I was in your Freddie's office. He wasn't there, obviously, because I just barged in whenever I wanted to.
Yeah, I didn't
I'm just
lock it.
kidding. But it was two individuals. I'm not gonna mention who, but they were like, "Yeah, Enzo's like planning to like leave college. Like you should tell him not to do it. He'll listen to you." And one, I didn't even know you that well, and I was like, "Why are you asking me this?" But sure. But no, I didn't say that. But I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not that close to him. But I told him, I was like, I'm not gonna tell him to do that. I'm gonna support him in whatever he wants to do. And if he thinks that college isn't for him, I'm gonna support him with that. And that's what exactly I did. I said, let me fill out those papers for you. No, I'm just kidding. But,
yeah, I mean, I don't really like mind people telling me like. I just wanted to see like people's opinions. Like,
Yeah.
I was just like, what? Because like you know, that's what school
we
sort
had
of
a
does.
discussion about
We
this.
did.
Why?
And the thing is, like, school like prioritizes education. I feel like school, in general, prioritizes not pain, but like sacrifice.
School
and
sacrifice.
Yeah.
Sacrifice, and you have to put school over your own mental health.
Let me rephrase. Okay, my opinion. School isn't a sacrifice. School is an investment. School is an investment for you and your future.
But see, the way my family sort of said it was.
So that's
Yeah, so
Yeah.
see, so this is where my background comes in. My mom would be like, Enzo, I know you're not
Very
feeling
traditional.
well. Yeah, very traditional. Like, you're not feeling well, and you know, obviously, I know you're not like liking it where you are now. But if you just give it, and this is also an investment, if you just give it some time, and then she's going to pay off in the future. And I was like, no, I don't like school. And, I mean, I didn't tell my parents I was dropping out entirely until later on. They just kind of figured, yeah, okay, so he's not going to school.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so my parents are very traditional. I just feel like my mom was just sort of like saying like you got to put a sacrifice,
Yeah.
some time, and then it's gonna be better. Like you're gonna have more freedom in the future. You're gonna have more opportunities in the future. You just gotta like sacrifice what you have right now. And so that's how I viewed it. And then I was like, you know what, this isn't for me. I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like I was going in for business, but what was I gonna do for business?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You just went to school because
My parents told me to.
Yeah.
And even then, I just never prioritized education. I was always free when I was in school. I skipped class. I didn't do my work. I was like, let's have fun.
Played video games.
Yeah.
But not like the clubbing, going to parties fun. I'm more like, let's have fun.
Read
and just
comics, play
come-
video games.
Yeah.
Video games. I just want to like hang out with my friends, kind of fun.
Yeah.
Not
You
go
just
to
wanted freedom.
Honestly, in life, in my opinion, if you have passion and you have purpose, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be successful.
And that's the thing, you
Come.
know, like I didn't find that until I was in like company
Plumbing program.
Yeah, plumbing program. No, we're not gonna name it because unfortunately I'm not with them anymore. But that's not my fault. Point is though, my first thing was like, you know, I needed money. I need to survive. So I'm gonna
The
go.
Maslow.
Yeah, exactly. Going back to that. So I found something, and it was this plumbing company, and they paid for
Based
me.
in Charlotte.
Based in Charlotte. And they were like, you know, we'll teach you, and you'll have ride-alongs and stuff. And I was like, okay, sure, why not? And so I went there. The first week I was like, okay, but then that Friday we had like a ride-along, and I realized I love this job, and I had a passion for it, and so I wanted to do more of it.
Yeah.
And so I really obviously I want to graduate so I can work, but like I really actually felt like I want to study this.
Yeah.
And I actually wanted to, and like it was like the first time in a long time where I actually felt invested in like this education.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing, like
You found a purpose, and through that, you found passion.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe in that whole entire thing. Is like if you find a job you love, you'll never work a day in your life. No, you're gonna work. Sometimes you're gonna hate your job, but at least it's something that you're passionate about, that you can have confidence in, of what you like, pride in your work. Like that's what I feel like. That's going back to education and stuff with mental health.
So we're gonna start rounding this off because we're about to hit the hour mark. Actually, in case y'all haven't noticed,
I have one question.
Yeah,
Uyen.
Oh.
What is the relationship like with mental health and college students? Like in a sense that
So statistically, suicide rates in college students has been going higher and higher every year.
and so like
in the States or internationally.
I nationally I
America.
don't say nationally North Carolina,
America.
America, and it's just because these times are changing. The job market is going higher. It's more competitive to get a job,
School's
and
more
also
expensive.
something that's it's expensive, but also it's actually more accessible. Because honestly, for many major bachelor degrees means nothing. You have to go for higher education. I'm getting my master's in social work because it's really hard to get a good paying job with a bachelor's in social work.
Yeah.
So that causes higher stress level for that, and again, combination of all the hierarchy of needs of getting a job, you growing up college wise, pressure of society, pressure also like that. Suicide rates are going higher in North Carolina. North Carolina, United States. I don't know the exact statistics, but I know if you look it up, it's
going up.
Yeah. So that's college students.
I was kind of like in a dark little space in the first semester. That's just because there was a lot of changes going on.
Yeah.
But then after that, I was in some kind of dark space. But I was going. It's like I had to hit the rock bottom, and I refer to that first semester of college as my rock bottom.
You didn't exactly have the best foundation.
I did not.
In terms of experience.
No, like it was my parents were like saying, go to school, come home. Kind of like robotic essentially. Like, and I couldn't live like that, and so I had to lie. But it was just like whole lot of mess. But that's just one thing. Like I was in a dark place at that time, but that was just it. And then after that, it just kind of got better and better for me at least. But.
So before we round this off, I have a question for you too. Just Enzo first. How do you take care of yourself?
I don't.
No, but what do you do to take care of yourself whenever you are feeling down?
I go on a drive and I just think, and that's it. I play music.
You play music?
I just drive around. I've driven like an hour in the one direction, just going from Charlotte University area all the way to almost Lincolnton actually. Almost Lincolnton. One time I drove from my house all the way to Gastonia for no apparent reason. Wasted gas.
To the people who are listening, what is that?
That's like an hour drive. I was taking back roads. I wasn't going on the highway. I was going. I think I almost saw a drug deal going on because everyone started looking at me weird, and I just kind of backed my way out and just kind of drove back because I was spooked. But it's I like just driving. It's just a good way. I feel like it's just a good way to clear your mind, looking at the scenery sort of, and just listening to music. And just sort of that's a good way to clear your mind. I feel like that's how I would take care of myself whenever I'm stressed or not feeling so good mood.
What about you, Ewan? How do you relax?
How do I relax?
Yeah.
Honestly, doing stuff like this helps me relax.
Just talking to your friends.
Talking to my friends, or getting out of my comfort zone, doing a podcast. I was like, cool. I'll do it, Freddie. I'll be here.
Zone. Yeah.
Also, I've been really getting into meditation. So guided meditation, I've been doing a lot, especially at night to help me sleep because you really get grounded and really it helps you acknowledge your body and where you are and your environment. So that's I've been finding so helpful.
Okay. Any final thoughts, comments, recommendations for our listeners in terms of taking care of your mental health or just self-care? Any final thoughts, you guys?
As for me, I always advocate on reaching out, and don't be ashamed if you are feeling any sort of way. It's normal.
Best resources.
It depends where you are. I don't know whoever listens to this, because obviously, like, since Enzo like touched upon it, like UNC Charlotte students, we are entitled to free counseling lessons at our sessions at our university. I think you get like 6 or 7 for free. Okay. I know that for individuals in the Charlotte area, if you call a number called Monarch and you have Medicaid, they would kind of link you to any providers that accept Medicaid. Those are the 2 that pops in my head. So again, I'm not the mental health expert. If I said something wrong, if I pronounced something wrong, yes, I don't know what DSM stands for right now. I can't think about it. I have it. No, I'm just kidding. But like, I'm still learning. I'll be better watching me. Yeah. So I don't know.
No, all good. But yeah, seems like that's it for everybody. Where can people find you guys? If you want to share that.
On my social medias?
Yeah.
If you want.
Yeah, social media is good in this sense.
Do it.
If you don't want to, that's fine. I'm still gonna tag
I mean,
you.
like, so like, I guess like my Instagram is, I think it's my full name, so it's Uyen and then underscore.
Your last name?
No, my middle name. So I'm trying to remember what it is. Okay, Uyen underscore NHU_LE_DINH.
It's a lot of underscores, but we'll tag her. So if you're interested in following her or asking her questions.
I hope this podcast was interesting.
We love it. We love this conversation.
I hope I taught y'all something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What about you, Enzo? Where can people find you?
I ain't gonna give that out.
You don't want to share it? I'm going to tag you anyway, so it doesn't matter. You're the co-host, so it doesn't matter. We have to tag you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
So, yeah.
It should be a topic talking about our college experience. I feel like that'd be really interesting.
That might be with Vicky on the follow-up with you.
Ooh.
And we could talk about how we met and stuff there.
Yeah.
So.
I'll be back.
Yeah. Of course, Ewan's going to be back.
Terminator.
Yeah. Ewan will be back, like Avengers. They always come back.
In 2021.
See, you're honest doesn't know Vicky, but me and Vicky together, we're a powerhouse.
Oh God, there's gonna be a lot of
yelling.
Might be a lot of censoring in that episode. Well, I don't know yet. But yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at Fredduccini147. That's FREDUCCINI147, or on Instagram at Fredduccini_. And you can follow the podcast on Arbitrary Productions on all the social media platforms. Give us a follow, ask us questions. This audio, will be on all the streaming platforms and even YouTube as an audio. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. Hope you learned something cool. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, any topic ideas, or if you want to be on the podcast, hit us up.
I guess also.
Because
we had some audiences in like Wyoming or something like that. Even though Wyoming isn't real.
We had somebody from like France and I think Thailand or something. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. See you soon.
Bye.
Or talk to you soon. Yeah, bye.
Goodbye.